My name is Colin Hastings. I'm the Executive Director of the Pasco Chamber of Commerce. And we're happy to have today's program that features an update on our area's housing market. And that's going to be a presentation by Ron Almberg, who is the soon outgoing president of the Tri-City Association of Realtors. Yeah, a lot of work this past year, I bet. So welcome again today and joining us. I'd like to invite everyone now to please stand up and join me for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, please have a seat. We have a couple elected officials I'd like to introduce here today. First, from Franklin County, we have Treasurer Josie Kelzer. Josie, I know we didn't have her name tag, but she's here. If you could stand up, please let's give her a warm welcome. I didn't see anybody from the port here. Any commissioners here today? That's got to be like that ends a long streak right there. However, there is one streak that is still in, unfortunately, going, and that's Franklin PUD Commissioner Stu Nelson. Let's give him a welcome. He knows I kid because we love, but. And I don't see anybody from the city of Pasco, any council members here today. Geez, don't they know there's an election right around the corner? Usually this one's a really well-attended event from candidates. And then we have the first iteration here of our meeting after our annual meeting. So we have some new board members as well too. I didn't get the notes down, but I'm going to try to pick them off as I see them. Now, Tim Brigman from STCU is here. Edison Valerio from State Farm. Charles Grimm texted me that said that he couldn't make it, and we have many other board members like Randy Hayden is on our board. Who am I going to miss and overlook? James Sexton with JMS Development. They're getting really close to lighting our sign as well too. Delt Clark from Christensen Fuels is here. And who am I missing? Delt. Well, of course, Rob, but I'm going to introduce him a little bit later. And then Mike Gonzalez over and Dave Zabel as well too. So I do have to give a little bit of credit, though. We heard it this weekend. I forget about it every year, but we had a Riverfest this weekend, and a few bankers showed up and said, why do you always have your October luncheon on a holiday? Well, I would like everyone from STCU that showed up, and let's give them a round of applause because they're here on their day off. That's why you go the extra mile. So in terms of a chamber update, we're kind of still shaking the cobwebs off. This past Saturday, we had our Riverfest event. Hopefully many of you had a chance to come down. The weather was perfect. We had plenty of exhibitors. We had over 80 different storytellers, I guess, if you will, because that's kind of how I like to put it, is those companies and organizations that really talk about how important the river system is to them. And turnout was a little bit less than we had in 2019, but we still had well over 2,000 people there, which is a great accomplishment, especially for the fun that everybody had. And our preliminary response in terms of feedback from our survey was all positive. Verbally, people were coming up to us all day at the info booth saying, what a great event, and they can't wait till next year. We got a lot of folks as well, too, that wanted to get on the contact list for next year. And as a matter of fact, I kind of jumped ahead here. I do want to take a moment and introduce a new team member for the Pasco Chamber as well. Kelly Mcgrath has just started about a week and a half ago, so she got to experience Riverfest just right out of the gun and did a great job and did an excellent job helping with setup and was able to help out a ton in so many different areas that the public will never know, but we had a lot of fun working on it the last week and this weekend, putting out all those fires. Also, we have a deadline coming up August, or excuse me, we're in October. Like I said, still shaking some of these cobwebs out. At the end of this month in October is the deadline for nominations for the Ag Hall of Fame. So if you have somebody in mind that you think would be worthy to be considered to be a nominee for the Ag Hall of Fame, please get those in to us by, actually I think it's November 1st is the deadline. You can find those nomination forms online at pascochamber.org. And I know that we have a few folks that have indicated that they're going to be dropping off those nominations. If you need any guidance or questions about that process, feel free to give us a call at the office and we'll walk you through that. You still have plenty of time. And also would like to make an announcement for our December luncheon now that we've gotten past the pandemic, according to the president, and we're going to have our nonprofit showcase once again. In December, we started a few years ago about having a platform to showcase all of our charitable nonprofits here in the area. And it started out just with an opportunity for a few selected nonprofits to talk a little bit about what their organization is, and it's grown to the point where GISA jumped on board and was matching donations for that day. We turned it into a trade show expo because of the demand for everyone to participate. So we're happy to announce that that trade show piece is going to be sponsored by Amazon Smile. And they're really excited to be a part of that as well too. So that's going to occur December 5th here at the Red Lion. I know that we're going to be sending out the information to the nonprofits soon so we can get that registered and put together. But really a neat, fun, gives you a warm feeling sort of event because it's the perfect time of year towards the end of the year and helping out those charitable nonprofits as well to help them complete their mission and work towards their mission. So that's kind of what's been going on with the Pasco Chamber. It's nice being back to normal and cruising on all cylinders here. I do want to segue and make an introduction to, we have a new member here today that we'd like to give a plaque to. So Rob, if you can come up and help me. I'd like to invite Luis and Misty Sauceda to come up. So they're with Sweet Pea Academy. I'll give them opportunity to say a little bit more about them here, but you have to come over here. We get to present you the plaque and take a picture.
Well, thank you. This is a surprise here, so I don't have anything much to say, but thank you and for the warm welcome. We're excited. I think we're here, I don't know how many years ago it was, but we got busy, came out of the chamber back in, so we're excited to be here and just want to say thank you.
Thank you. That's it. That's only one today. So with that, and I can tell you from experience too, our kids are graduates of Sweet Pea Academy. A long time ago, a little bit more hair ago as well too, and but it was a great experience, and I'm sure that among probably other kids too, but our kids left a lasting impression with Misty and Luis as well. So with that, I would like to introduce our new president, Rob DiPiazza, with Hometown Values. He's going to take us through the rest of the program. So be nice to Rob on his first mission here.
I'm going to try not to stray off script. There I am. All right. So I am going to introduce our keynote speaker, Ron Almberg, designated broker with Keller Williams. Can you hear me? Because I kind of, no, okay. We'll try that trick again. Thank you, Randy. Ron Almberg is a designated broker with Keller Williams. Ron provides designated broker oversight, education, and professional development for managing brokers, team leaders, and independent agents of Keller Williams, Columbia Basin, and Keller Williams, Spokane. He has been in the real estate industry for just over a decade. He actively pursues continuing education and training to stay on top of the current trends and practices in the marketplace in order to serve his clients best. Ron also was a lead pastor with Quilcene Assembly of God, Calvary Christian Assembly of God, and Valley Christian Center. Please welcome Ron Almberg to provide us with the industry insight and updates to the housing market in the Tri-City area. You're up, boss.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. And those who welcome me, want to thank Katie Copeland, who is my real estate partner in crime and helping me to arrange this. So I'm also the 2022 president for the Tri-City Association of Realtors, and that's kind of how I'm coming to you today. I was asked to do a little bit of a update on what's going on in the housing. How many of you have noticed that there is a housing shift going on? Anybody? Notice that things are different out in the housing market? Yeah, things have radically changed in the last 6 months. And so there is a shift going on. If we all had a crystal ball, we would be millionaires. When I was in college, I had this opportunity to buy penny stock in this little startup computer company down in downtown Kirkland, and I didn't do it because I didn't have a crystal ball, and it was called Microsoft. I still think about that today. We don't know. So what is the end result of the shift going to be? The fact of the matter is none of us know. I think that all the people in the government, federal government, state government, I think they all go to bed in a cold sweat at night because they don't know what's going on. What we do know, it's not like the 2008 shift. It's much different, and there's several factors for that. One of the is the interest rates. How many of you notice the interest rates have gone up? Right? Radical change in interest rates. One of the things I was fortunate enough to do was last fall, I refinanced my house at 2.37%, right? I don't know that we'll ever see those interest rates again. It's really hard to say. But I'm going to show you a little bit of picture of what's going on and kind of put it in a historical perspective. All real estate is local. You need to remember that, so we need to keep that in mind. All real estate is local. A lot of what we hear on the national news has to do with national numbers, and a lot of those are really projected from big metropolitan areas. The Seattle market, Portland market, Boise, Idaho, Spokane market, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Salt Lake City, those are all different markets from our market, and they are going to reflect their own numbers. The Tri-City market is very, very unique. Back in 2007, 2008, when things were seeming to fall apart, I had to sell my house. I lost all the equity I had, plus some, and ended up renting for the next 6 years, trying to recover from that. I don't think we're heading in that direction. But I do think that we need to be aware of some of the things that are affecting our local community, and that's what I want to talk about today. One of the biggest ones is inventory. We have a huge problem with just having enough houses. You might not be aware of it, but not only at the start of 2007 to 2008 did we see this huge decline in new construction starts, but we also saw a huge influx of first-time home buyers coming in with this bubble of millennials who are ready to buy homes. And there's no homes, or what homes are there are becoming less and less affordable. So we had this perfect storm of less inventory, huge population bubble coming into the market, and it has only put more and more pressure on inventory. The question for the real estate industry, for the Home Builders Association, the home builders and developers, is, you know, what can we do to work with the cities to help alleviate the inventory problem? And that comes to the other one is increased demand. Not only do we see a population aging into the home buying process, but we are also seeing a lot of people moving into the Tri-Cities precisely because it's affordable. We are seeing people coming over, selling their homes in metropolitan areas, and then coming over here and buying cash. And it's amazing how many of our sales in the real estate market in the upper ends are cash purchases, right? So I think something that we all need to recognize is real estate has never been a stable. It's been reflected in our economy in a number of different ways. And so shifts are going to happen. Shifts always happen. It's just a part of the market, just like it is a part of the stock market. So that goes back to my comment about having a crystal ball. You know, good luck trying to choose when is the right time to get in the market and when is the right time to get out of the market. There are those who last year were thinking, I'm just going to hold on a little bit longer because my home values are continuing to appreciate at an incredible rate. And now they wish they had sold last year. Or there are those who sold 2 years ago and wish they had just held on a year longer because they probably would have gotten $20,000 or $30,000 more for their house. So the fact of the matter is none of us can guess when to get in the market and when we can get out of the market. But we do know that there's a number of things that do drive these kinds of shifts that are going on. Supply and demand is a big one. We just talked about that. Of course, the one that is affecting us right now is the infrastructure, right? When you're building homes and you can't get garage doors or you can't get refrigerators, it creates a huge problem for our builders. The other one is of course, health, right? And who would have guessed 3 years ago that we'd have been heading into a pandemic that would have had a huge impact upon housing and housing affordability. And then, of course, in March of 2020, we all thought the world was coming to an end. I remember our business at our office, we were cutting expenses. We renegotiated a lease with our landlord. We were trying to do everything to cut our expenses because we thought the world was coming to an end. And then June comes along. It was like somebody threw gas on the fire and the real estate market just exploded. And we didn't know what to do. The other one is, of course, economics that we see in national, state, and local, but I should have put on there international. We are seeing a lot of international economics that are playing into the shift as well. And then, of course, interest rates and lending practices, affordability and accessibility. A lot of times we talk about affordability, but one of the things that's being highlighted in the real estate community, particularly at the state level, is the whole idea of accessibility. How do we make homes accessible to people? Because some of the places where we're building homes and the price ranges that we are building them in, they are not accessible to a lot of people. Of course, job market effects as well, hiring and layoffs, consumer confidence. How many are familiar with what's called the Consumer Confidence Index, right? And that's kind of a tricky thing to try and gauge, right? I mean, that's kind of like, taking your emotional pulse every morning. How do I feel today? But that plays a huge part in how people buy products and whether they're saving or whether they're spending. And then also weather. We have natural events. How many remember Snowmageddon about 3 years ago, right? This winter, remember that? That affected us locally with our builders and developers. It shut everything down. And of course, if you're having a home built, the last thing you want to hear is a builder coming to you and saying, well, we're going to have to push out the finish date probably another 6 weeks because it's pushed all of our subcontractors back, right? And of course, the national disasters as well. Sometimes we are not aware that natural disasters that take place across the country have a huge impact here at home. All those homes that were destroyed in Florida are going to place a huge demand on building supplies. And that's going to continue to affect our building supply prices here. So all of those things take place and cause shifts to happen in the real estate market. One of the things to be aware of is that since 1971, you can see all of the ups and downs of the interest rates over the last 50 years. Now that 6.66, that's a little old. I think we're at 7 points. Tim, aren't we at 7 point something now? 7.6? Yeah, so, but you can see here the change over the last 50 years. The fact of the matter is if you were to take a 50-year average, we are still at or a little below what the 50-year average interest rate has been over the 50 years. If you went back 20 years, it's a little under 6% for a 20-year average. We have just been used to this la-la land of living in a world where interest rates were just unrealistic and they couldn't stay there forever. Now, you are very blessed if you happen to buy a home or refinance a home like I did during that period of time. The question is going to be are those buyers like myself who refinanced at 2.37% and have seen a huge appreciation value in their home, right? How many have just gotten a recent county assessor's assessment of the home value? That's not the market value, by the way. You probably sell for a lot more than that. So I'm looking at all this equity I could possibly get out of my home if I sold today. But the question is do I want to sell today and then turn around and buy at a higher interest rate? So that goes into the effect into the minds of the sellers. And then now some people are going to have to sell regardless of what the interest rate is. And some people are going to have to buy regardless of what the interest rate is. The fact of the matter is, it's at the end of the day, they're going to be looking at the monthly payment. And can I afford the monthly payment? So you can see that there's never been a steady interest rate that has gone across our history. It's always been up and down. We have just been in a season where interest rates have been phenomenally low, and some would say even artificially low, kept artificially low by the government. So let's talk about what's going on here in the Tri-Cities. Now, some of you can't read the numbers, and I don't want you to pay too much of the numbers. What I want you to pay attention to is the trend line in the bars. You'll notice that they're going up. This goes back to 2007. And you can see right at 2007, 2008, when the market had a turn, we dropped off quite a bit, and then it took a number of years, till about 2012, 2013, before the number of homes selling in the Tri-City market began to increase. And then from 2012 to 2013, all the way up through 2021, we had this steady increase every year of homes being sold, right? Up to last year was 5,518 homes were sold in the Tri-City market. Now that number 2022, that's about a month old. We're at about 4,000 homes right now. We're probably going to we're going to be pretty close to the 2015 mark. So even with the downturn in the number of homes being sold, we're still going to be at a pretty good rate of the number of homes that are going to be sold in the Tri-City market. So the world's not coming to an end, I guess is what I want to say, all right? The fact of the matter is back in 2007 and 2008, and when I got into real estate in 2009, our home values here in the Tri-Cities did not depreciate. They flatlined. We did not see a depreciation of values, but we did not see an appreciation of values either. There was about 0.5 to 1% appreciation for those 1 or 2 years there right after that shift. And then after that, we continued to see pretty much a normal appreciation of home values, which is about 3 to 4%. They're expecting to see that this year nationally, that there will be a return to a national appreciation of home values of 3 to 4%. So that means that if you bought a $400,000 house this year, by the end of next year, you're probably going to realize a 4% appreciated value. That's still not too bad investment, right? So this shows you the monthly sold residential properties for just this year. And again, I'm a month behind. I've just got August here. The blue and green are 2021, and the red and yellow are 2022. And so I want you to compare the blue and green to the red and yellow, and you notice that right from the beginning of the year, the red and the blue are the total sales, the green and the yellow are new construction. So since the beginning of the year, the number of homes that have been sold in our market have been going down slightly. We're not keeping up with what happened in 2021. Part of that has to do with new construction. We're not building as many homes as we had. There was a point in time where 60% of our home sales was new construction homes. That's phenomenal, absolutely incredible. It didn't last very long, but it was pretty shocking to realize how many new homes were being built and sold right away. Builders weren't able to build them fast enough. And so you can see the steady increase, even in the red, the steady increase in the number of homes. And then in July and August, when we saw the interest rate shift, you saw a sudden decline in the number of sales of homes in the marketplace. And I expected that trend to continue. This is the one that I want to spend a little bit of time on and focus on. This is the one, to me, when I saw this same graph on the state level at the Washington Realtors conference that happened a couple weeks ago, and it was alarming to me. And so I decided to come back home and do some digging. What does it look like in our marketplace? So you can see I only went back 3 years. So I can pretty much guarantee if I went back to 2019, it would look even worse. But 2020, in the home prices between 0 and 250,000, you can see that in 2020, that was a big part of our market. And then the home prices between 251,000 and 400,000 was huge. Do you see that? That first bar there? That's in 2020. The bulk of our sales were in that 251,000 to 400,000 price range. Just in 2021, right when the pandemic hit. And then the next price range, 401 to 600,000, wasn't quite as big, and then the over 600,000, wasn't much at all. And then you progress through the years. In 2021, there was a decrease in homes under 250,000. The number of homes between 251 and 400,000 decreased, and the number of homes sold between 401 and 600,000 increased, and so did the homes over 600,000. And then finally, look at this year. The homes sold under $250,000 is phenomenally low. That's your low income, that's your first time home buyer. Those tend to be people who are disadvantaged. They tend to be the ones who rely on your first time home buyer's assistance. All right? And then notice the 251 to 400,000 dropped even more significantly. So that the price range, those who bought between 251,000 and 400,000 is almost the same as those who bought from 401,000 to 600,000. In fact, those who bought between 401 and 600,000 is slightly more. Now, I don't know about you, but that's kind of breathtaking. That should really cause you to pause and think. Part of our duties as realtors is to help people get into homes, but if our first-time home buyers, who are, by the way, the largest bubble coming into the market right now, can't afford them or are finding themselves in a financial situation where they are really in a poor financial position if they have to buy homes in those price ranges. And then notice the homes that were sold over 600,000. a dramatic increase just in these 3 years. Now, I'm going to open it up here, but just looking at this graph, give me some of your feedback. What does that say about our community? And this is just Franklin County, by the way. I did not include Benton County. This is just Franklin County. What does this tell you about the price of homes, homes affordability, and accessibility for our community?
I overlay this on rental capacity as well,
Yep.
and then look at the challenge for recruiting and retaining employees.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and I did not even bring in the rental, but the rental market will very much reflect these numbers, yes.
The rental market's gonna increase because they're not gonna be able to afford to buy. But also, look at the interest rate. Who's gonna afford $500,000 with interest rate at 6.25, 6.5 to 7%? It's impossible. So we're gonna have, as employees, we're gonna have issues because we're gonna have to increase our minimum wage, right? But yeah, no, it's economic concern.
Yeah, so you're hitting on something that's really, really important. It's not just the interest rate, is it? It's the fact that the home that I could buy, I bought my home 8 years ago for $220,000, brand new construction in Benton City. I could turn around and sell it today for probably $440,000 to $480,000. I can't afford to buy my own home. So it's the home values as well as the interest rate. That combination is the one that makes it very, very difficult. What else do you notice from this? Yes, thank you for raising that. Yeah, so the cost to build. How many have noticed just the cost of dirt, buying a lot, right? Gone through the roof, right? I remember when I first got started in real estate, you noticed I was a clergy person for 25 years, then got into real estate. Just a different kind of real estate, I suppose. But that was supposed to be a joke, by the way. I remember telling people as they came into, a Stonecrest home, yeah, we build about $90 to $100 a square foot. Wouldn't that be nice? And now we're saying, well, probably $250, maybe higher, depending on your finishes, right? But so the cost of development and is becoming a huge part of the problem in being able to build affordable housing. It's very difficult for builders to build homes under $300,000 because just of the cost of development and the cost of materials. When a sheet of plywood's $100 a sheet. I don't know what it is now, but it was $100 a sheet there for a little bit. It's down to 20 something now. Oh, good. What's that? Yeah, normally it was 7, yeah. It's 3 times more than what it, yeah. My dad was in construction, that's where I got my start, was in Seattle in construction. And when it hit $100 a sheet, I told my dad that, and he just couldn't believe it. But yeah, so the cost of materials, as well as the supply line issues as well. What else do you notice about these graphs? What does this say about our community and how we need to look at our community and working to develop our community? We need more affordable housing. And so to me, Augustine, that is one of the biggest issues. And, as a realtor, it's not all about getting the next sale. It's really about how do we build affordable housing? Can we change zoning laws to allow for higher density, smaller lots?
What I'm really excited about is about seeing how now loans like VA loans that are accessible,
Right.
they're going to start being a star. Like, everybody will want to buy a house just because of the type of loan.
Right.
And the rate that they can assume the rate that the previous owner had.
Right.
I'm kind of really looking forward about that.
Yeah, having assumable loans is going to be a huge benefit to the sellers and to their buyers. Yeah, Rob.
Well, urban sprawl needs to stop. We need to start building up. Condos are not a bad investment. You have a condo
Right. So, yeah, so building up, condominiums is good. And so that's one of the things Washington Realtors has talked about, because one of the issues with condominiums is the condominium liability. And so, working with the Home Builders Association, the Realtor Association, to get the liability laws around buildings so developers and builders will have a better solid ground to be able to build condominiums. Building townhomes is another way, but that has to allow for higher density, in particular neighborhoods and on lots. The whole Growth Management Act, yeah, that's right, Katie. The whole Growth Management Act needs probably re-examined in order for us to provide affordable housing. Right, the cost of permits, yeah. Yeah, the permitting process, the fees that go on top of those can really add. It doesn't matter what the size lot is, whether it's a half acre or an eighth of an acre, right? The infield, the infill, right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is where, again, the city, working with our trade associations, coming up, brainstorming solutions of how we can provide affordable housing for our community. I see this as a huge need for everybody in our community, first-time home buyers. And so I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions, I'm more than willing to stick around and try and answer those. You're always welcome to get a hold of our Realtor Association and contact them. Next year, Travis Davis from Coldwell Banker is going to be our president. Looking forward to him serving there. So thank you very much.
Good job, Ron. I don't need a microphone, do I? Anyway, thank you for the insights. Absolutely, we appreciate it. We're way ahead of schedule. I think John Funfar's got plenty of film if anybody else wants to say it. No, I'm just kidding. Does anybody have any questions for the chamber in general? How things are going? How are you guys doing? Are you excited? Are you bored to death? Yeah, if you didn't see the little write-up that I did about, we're forming our own posse, the Pasco posse, and we are going to be spearheading a growth process for new members. We appreciate when you bring guests to these luncheons or any of our social events. Give them a chance to see who we are. One of the benefits, I've been a member for over 15 years. I've been a member here for over 15 years because I can get to know each and every one of you at a luncheon. Some of the chamber luncheons, you sit at the table and you get to know the people at the table and you have no clue who the rest of the people are. It's just really hard to be recognized. It's also easy to be significant. I mean, I'm president of the chamber. Woohoo! You too can do that. It's really not that hard, and we'd love to have you do that, right? Or serve on the board. Right now, our board is completely filled, but there are committees that we're forming if you want to get involved in certain committees, or if you have some ideas. We're open and welcome. Thinking outside the box is really a good idea, and I've met some people that have had some pretty amazing ideas that I've trying to formulate and pass on and put in place here. So, but anyway, we love for you to be here. Thank you for showing up on Columbus Day, I think is what they still call this, right? Oh, hey, this is pretty good. Speaking of maybe one of our newest members. Hey, Gabriel, your card worked. You won.
$50 gift card and a gift basket.
Whoa, $50 gift card and the basket.
Yep.
Wow, nice. Some of you may be wondering a little bit about how they're actually members, just FYI. They just want to be members, so they want to get involved in the community. So they're spending some money and helping us out, So I guess that's all we need to do, right, boss? I'm done for today. Y'all have a good day.